Welcome, everybody, to the Home Builder Marketers podcast. Today, we have a special guest. We have Dan from JACKApp. Dan has an amazing story from builder to builder who solved a bunch of problems that builders face every single day. And I'm excited to have you on the podcast, Dan. To start this off, I would love you to introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about, because I know, in the time that we have, you have a very, unique story from being a builder to creating JACKApp, right?
For
And
sure.
so I'd love to dive into that. And, every single day we see home builders and remodelers, businesses fail due to mismanagement, due to not actually having everything organized. You can be a really good builder, but if you don't have everything organized, then even if you're great, you're still destined for failure. So, welcome, Dan.
Yeah. No, appreciate that. Thanks for the intro. Good to be here. Yeah, so owner and founder of JACKApp, all-in-one construction management software. My journey started as a traditional one, did my plumbing apprenticeship, dropped out of school at 15 and learnt what hard work was really quickly. In my early 20s, having done an apprenticeship that was all encompassing with carpentry, roofing, drywall, we kind of did a bit of everything. I already had the taste for being a builder, and I launched into my first project. Made no money, made lots of mistakes, as many budding new builders do, and sort of managed and struggled my way through running a business without any help or advice for a few years, and kind of come to the realization that I didn't know everything and I wasn't a superstar, and sought some help from some business coaches and some mentors within the industry. And over the last 12 years, I've built up a home building company, which still operates in Australia. I live here in Houston, Texas. We've got over 40 staff there and turnover upwards of 100 million a year. And that's all running while I'm here in Houston, Texas, running JACKApp as well. So it's been an interesting journey along the way, to say the least.
That's amazing. Wow.
That's an incredible
Let's
journey.
double click on your background. Yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
Double click. Oh, I was just going to say that's incredible. From having the home building company currently operating and having the software. So like you currently, like as your business sees problems, you can actually custom your platform to solve all those problems.
Absolutely. I think a huge part of any business success, well, probably number one is your people, and then alongside that is your systems and processes. And yeah, certainly when I first started out, I didn't have any of those spreadsheets, guessed a lot of stuff. And then the further I got into operating the business and more advice I got, I quickly realized you need a process. And we used multiple applications when we first kind of started actually implementing systems, and it was super frustrating not having everything connected. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners can kind of vouch for that. When you got information in different places, it's really hard to understand where you're truly at and manage your business. So that's when I went about building Jack internally for my own construction company. And yeah, as it I guess evolved, a lot of my competitors and sort of friends in the industry asked what we were doing, and yeah, they started using it, and it's kind of exploded in Australia. And we've taken it to New Zealand and now Canada and the United States. So it's definitely been an organic way to build a business, but it's super satisfying. I love talking to builders every day. It's fun.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
I'd love to dive in a little bit on your background. Okay, so you're building, things are going well. You're doing custom homes.
We do commercial, so schools,
More
offices.
Okay.
That's a smaller part of the business, and then we do multi-res units, townhouses, and then we have high-end custom residential, which is anywhere from $1 to $5 million builds.
Okay, and so you're doing all of that. At what point are you in your career where you're like, I'm gonna start a software company and like go in a totally?
I lost my mind. It must have been about then, yeah.
Okay.
Look, it was at a point, like I said, we built it internally, and then when I probably learned that it could be commercialized and people actually wanted this as a product, that was when I knuckled down and brought a team together and kind of had to learn a lot about the industry myself. And probably make mistakes to start with. And then, when it started to get a bit serious, we employed some really high-level people to help us build the product out in the team. So, Jack's got upwards of 35 staff now, and growing.
Dude, let's go, man. That's awesome. So you're crushing it with your business. You build this system internally, and it kind of comes and dawns on you that, like, you know what, like, we've gotten so much value from this, we should commercialize this and bring this to market then. So that's kind of essentially the story then, right?
Yeah, that's right. We started off with a really cheap product, like a value proposition to get some early adopters on, and quickly learnt what it was that builders wanted. Because of course I probably work differently to some building companies. That was probably something that surprised me. Builders all work in a different way. We probably all work towards the same result in invoicing a client, tracking our costs, and project management, but all builders work differently. So that was probably something I learned early on about systems is everyone needs it to be pretty flexible, which I think Jack is now.
Okay, so let me ask you, and I don't like to name drop, but I'm gonna name drop. You got Wonderbuild, you got you have Buildertrend, you got Wonderbuild, you got JobTread. JobTread's a newer one, but you have Co-Construct, you got Procore, you got all these big software companies in the space that do similar stuff. What was it that you guys ran into in your company that they didn't solve, that you guys were like, we need to build our own solution, and rather than like try and like mold what they already had into what you needed?
Yeah, so in Australia, and I think in Canada as well, safety is a big thing. So we used to have to track that in a different platform, and none of those competitors have that in there to my knowledge. So building that within the system where we've got, you can order site signage from us, scan a QR code, check into site. That was one part of it. The project management, like Buildertrend's really good with project management, but then they probably weren't been as strong on the finances. So it was actually connecting a lot of those good systems together, I guess, and having it as one. But really the ultimate thing that I found really frustrating that no other systems did is a business plan within the software that then gives a live cash flow forecast. So one of the unique features of Jack is it connects all of the financial information that the builder's got to their job programs or their schedules, change orders, budget movement, and what they have and haven't paid in terms of bills and invoices, and gives them a live cash flow projection. So a good example of that might be middle of the year, builders trying to decide whether they need to win some more work or not, whether they can buy a new truck, whether they can afford to hire a new person. Jack's cash flow forecasting tool lets them plan their business out and see how much cash they're going to have in their business going forward based on all the current data. And, to do that process manually could take an accountant 2-3 days. Yeah. Jack's live updating the cash flow forecast for the builder so they can get a look into their future. That's probably the most unique feature of Jack and what differentiates us.
Super cool. And you guys focused really big on a Xero connection, right? Because in Australia, Xero is probably more popular than QuickBooks, if I think I remember from earlier.
A little bit of QuickBooks, but mainly Xero, yeah. So Xero in Australia, and then we're QuickBooks in the States and Canada, yeah.
Okay. And it has a really good integration into both, I'm guessing then?
Yeah, it's two-way integration. So you push, we have an AI bill scanning tool. So trades, subs and suppliers, you can email your bills into Jack. The AI scans it, allocates it to the jobs, and you can set sort of different approval rules around so that if you have certain staff that need to approve it, you can set triggers so that they have to approve it. And then it pushes the bill up to QuickBooks and or Xero. And then once it's paid, it pushes back, which is a really important point, actually. When a bill's paid, the system needs to know that it's been paid to update the cash flow forecast. So we looked at the month of July, and you'd forecast to pay $1 million worth of bills, and you paid $900,000, and then it would roll that $100,000 into the following month to keep the cash flow forecast accurate for the builder.
Super cool. Okay, side question. Now, and I don't know if this is something you want to answer on the podcast or not, but when it comes to AI, we got Claude, we got now Codex just came out with 5.6. How much does that help shipping new parts to your software? When you can now, maybe it's cloning JACKApp and then vibe coding new features in, and then testing the code to see if it works or not, and then applying that to like the main platform. Is that kind of how it rolls? Like, has that sped you up at all? Are you using AI?
It does, but it is a very big code base. Yeah. And AI to read that whole code base and take it into context, and not create bugs and issues is very difficult. So it's more, I'd say 70% of the code is reviewed and written by the dev, and then 30% just sort of speeds them up. But there's a new article out now that there's a lot of big companies that sacked all their devs, and they figured out the AI is not as good as what they thought it was going to be, and they've had to bring them back because you still need that engineer, that architect to keep the quality of this system. And I think you can get a lot of N+1 issues, it's called, that basically slows the performance of the product down, and AI is not as good at recognizing that writing code. So you do have to be very careful. It does help, but it's certainly not taking over yet.
Interesting.
I agree.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I read a. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry, I don't know if it's lagging or
a little bit of a delay, but that's okay. So I was just saying that I saw a meme the other day where it was like, companies are starting to fire their AI and hire humans back because it's cheaper.
I mean, everything's got its place, right? Like we've got an MCP server we're releasing next week for Jack, so that anyone that's got Claude, AI connector, Claude, ChatGPT, you can do some really cool stuff, and just your efficiencies as a builder using those tools and connecting into Jack you can't even put a value on it, right? So I think writing code is one thing, but sort of project management tasks, reading lots of documents and whatnot, AI is really good for that.
Dude, yes, that's going to be so huge for you. I talked to the guys over at Buildertrend when we went on the road with them a couple months back, and they said that they're like, the one guy said they're almost 100% closed off to doing an MCP and opening it up.
Nice. Yeah. It's a new industry standard. I think if you've got a SaaS business and you don't have it, you're behind the ball. So
like, that's
people are expecting it,
guys, right? Because like the biggest player in the game isn't willing to open up with their MCP. That's fine. You guys are going to come and swoop in and have
You're saying they're not going to do it? I thought you said they were. Okay.
No, sorry. They're not. They're completely closed off to the idea of doing an MCP.
Okay. That's interesting. I mean, as a builder, it's funny. There's two old guys in the cubicle next to me in the toilet a month ago. He must have been 80, and he's like, I've been using this Claude. It's awesome. Does everything. And I'm like, 80-year-old guy's like talking to his mate, taking a whiz about AI. It's just everywhere. Like grandmas are using it. It's just so popular. It's everywhere. The chats. So it's expected now, I think.
My grandfather used it to plan our fishing trip a couple weeks back.
That's so good.
He was watching my videos on Instagram, and he's like, I used the Claude, and it gave me an itinerary.
The AI.
Yeah, I used the AI, and it created this whole thing for us on everything we need to do on the fishing
trip. Just blown away.
Yeah. It's like when he was growing up, he didn't even have color TV, and now all of a sudden you can talk to the AI, and it's like it's crazy.
It's a thing.
It is. That's super cool. So you guys are coming out with your MCP in a week. That's huge news. Congratulations on that.
Appreciate that.
I know. When I was talking to you guys a few weeks ago, you mentioned you're a couple weeks out. So that's awesome. You guys kept that on track and are nailing that out. That's going to be huge for adoption, I would say. Because there's only one other company in the space that has done it so far, I believe, other than you guys, right? Yeah.
Job trade. Yeah. It actually turned out to be one of the easiest features we've built. We've basically got a package. Our infrastructure or code base is built with Laravel, and they've bought out their own way to build the MCP server easily. So Amazing. It was quite an easy thing to roll out.
That's awesome. That's super cool. Nick, any questions from your end?
No, but my Wi-Fi is great now. So
still a bit of a delay, but you're all good, bro.
Oh, really? The one thing that the one thing that I just keep coming back to is that a software should help make a company more efficient, more effective, more organized. And if you include the financial forecasting on there, like if 80% of construction companies go out of business, it's mainly due to their financials are way out of whack. Yeah. They do a couple projects wrong, and then they're then they're out. And so if you can have
cash management,
your projects your projects organized, your all your costing is organized. Like, how many builders actually operate, go buy a bunch of material, and they don't know where the receipt is? Like, it's like, oh no, that's not too
crazy,
good, right?
Yeah. Well, during COVID, we were doing a good number of homes, and we were getting a price rise from a supplier or a subcontractor every week, it seemed. And this is I didn't have Jack's cash flow forecasting tool then, and I was super anxious about where's the company going to be with all of this going on in a year. So that drove me to actually build that feature to know, hey, what's my bank balance going to be 12 months from now? Because as the price rises were coming in, once we had that feature, I could enter in the percentage that things had gone up, and then it told me what my bank balance was going to look like based on all these price rises we're getting, and gave me some comfort that we were going to be okay and we're going to be able to push through. So, being able to look into the future as a builder is really hard unless you've got the right systems and processes.
Yeah, totally.
And it brings some peace if you know what's going on 6 months from now, and having a forecast or an idea, you don't have it then.
Exactly.
And when you're in a cash flow pinch and you don't know the forecast, and you don't know if it's game over in 6 months.
That's it. Yeah, it's all too common story.
So let me ask a little bit about the future of like your marketplace and for your user base. Do you have like an idea if you're going to create like an event in the future, or like some sort of like marketplace where you have like preferred vendors? Like, what's your future with that side of things?
As in suppliers and people who provide services to builders?
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, so we do partner with people at the moment and do events. So we've got 4 events coming up later this year in Australia, where we have guest speakers and people kind of come and talk about their services. That's a big thing that we push. In terms of integrations, we don't have a lot of integrations at the moment, but that's a focus in the next 6 months, being able to integrate with more partners, so provide more services to the builder. I think what we've done over the last sort of 3 or 4 years is build a platform that works with every feature for the builder, but now other services that they have, like Home Depot, guys like yourself that provide services, being able to integrate that for the builder is the next sort of, journey for Jack to be able to improve the builders.
Yeah, I know a huge one, and I think Nick will attest to this as well, is going to be like the CRM integrations. Like for instance, Go High Level is a big one. HubSpot's another big one. Salesforce. Probably Go High Level is taking the construction world by storm. Almost every single builder that approaches us that has a previous company or has a CRM is using Go High Level. So
we're building a Zapier integration at the moment.
Perfect.
That obviously can open that up for people. Yeah, we were going to go direct with Go High Level, but we kind of had like people were wanting a lot of different sort of integrations, so that was a great way to solve it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
super cool. Yes, I meant to do an intro to you guys to Go High Level from our last conversation. That was one of my notes to do, but then I can't find the guy's contact anywhere, so I'm gonna have to reach out and try and do it for you guys.
We've already signed up for him anyway, and I think Jason's gonna implement it. Yeah, it's a great system. I got so excited once I got in there. This is sweet.
There's
so many good things.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, man, you guys got lots going on. That's super cool.
So can people listening to this podcast go to the event, or it's in Australia? I mean, it might be a little journey, but is that open for everybody, or?
Yeah, by all means.
Yeah. Let's go.
Come and ride some kangaroos and drink some Australian beer.
Let's go, man.
I'm sure everybody would love to do that. I would.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm coming tomorrow.
Yeah, let's lock it in. Done.
Let's lock it in. Okay, that's cool. And I just think of all the companies that we work with. Marketing is like one of those things that, again, needs to be organized. Otherwise, it can be like throwing money out the window, right? So you have to have a plan, and it has to be organized. You need to know your ad spend numbers. And I just think of your platform as probably like I'm not sure, maybe 50% of the people on this call maybe don't have a CRM, but they need to jump on a platform like JACKApp. because if you can manage your projects, you have those automations, you can send all your receipts to the email, you can like, what would you say the efficiency level is in a company, like based on when before you had the app and now, how, like, what does life look like for you, as an example, the difference between being on a platform and not being on a platform?
As in a CRM or Jack itself?
Jack itself, like the
Yeah. Well, when I started out with Jack, we had one person doing our invoice processing, and we were building maybe 50 homes a year. We now build over 200, and we still have that same person. So I guess if you look at that, it's fourfold. And that was when we brought in our AI build processing tool. Still have one bookkeeper that works. We've got two more site managers, but we're doing another 60 million in work. So if you just look at those kind of metrics, our margins have gotten a lot better, and we haven't had to employ more staff because the systems and processes are there to be able to scale. And I think that's, for younger builders out there, if you look at people in the area and go, how do they build for that? How do I compete with that sort of volume? And typically it's not so much that they're buying materials cheaper, it's just that their processes and systems and the way that they do things are so embedded that they've got confidence in their margins, and they've got confidence to push hard and win more projects. Whereas when you don't have those systems and processes, you can't really feel confident that you can push hard and still give a great result to your client, the homeowner on the other end. So I think that's a kind of a metric, is looking at how much more you can do with still the same amount of people, and a system really helps with that.
That is inspiring. Didn't have to hire hardly 2 more people and add another
in the department. Yeah.
In that department, yeah. And
that,
and then a lot of people will hire more people to, hire a person.
It's a typical syndrome.
Slap a Band-Aid on it and then go, oh shoot, now I'm 3 months in, the problem's not solved.
Exactly.
I got this payroll happening here. Dang.
Yeah. That doesn't work. And the more people that you've got, and a really good point in with staff, back to probably more of a cultural thing, is if you've got good systems and processes, you have happy staff because they can go to work, they'll sit at their desk, they'll understand what they need to do and how they bring value to their role in the company, and then you'll have happier staff. If you've got someone that rocks up to work and doesn't really understand what's expected of them and can get a good result out of their day-to-day work and achievement, you'll just have staff turnover, you'll do crap work. Whereas, when you got that system, the people can feel empowered to do their job really well.
Yeah. And what does JACKApp cost? Like, if somebody's listening to this and they're like, oh, you're right, I've been hiring people, but nothing's being solved, they don't have any systems. What does it take to get onto JACKApp? What does the process look like? And how, like, if somebody's struggling right now, they're a little bit unorganized, they're trying to find some air, like what would it take to get onto the platform? And then typically how long do you normally see somebody, they get on, and then does it take like 2 to 3 months normally for somebody to get in the groove, or what does the journey kind of look like?
So the journey, I guess, is reaching out first on our website to book a demonstration. One of the team here will demo to you, and then let's say straight away, yep, let's go ahead. It's $2.99 a month with one user and unlimited jobs. And then it's $8 per mobile user after that. So then let's say you go ahead. I actually do the first implementation meeting. I meet with any new builders and trying to understand your business and make sure we get you set up right. About 3 days after that, if you've sent us your login to your current system, we'll pull the data out. Otherwise, you send it to us in spreadsheets and we'll import that within 3 to 5 business days. And then post that in the second week, we have a full training team that will train you on the software. Within a month, you'll be fully up and running. If you are great with software and systems and you kind of know how to click your way around, within a couple of weeks, you'll be fully up and running.
Wow. For $2.99 is nothing compared to the amount of clarity somebody will find with everything involved in the platform. Yeah, hard to beat.
For sure. Yeah, it's a massive value add.
To get your accountant to go through QuickBooks and explain it to you is going to cost more money.
Exactly. They charge by the minute, those guys.
Yeah, they do.
Cool.
Well,
go ahead, Nick.
Well, I think I'm just every single day that I work with builders, it's just always a process problem every single time. Even when you look at their marketing, it's a process problem because they don't have a system to get the posts, the blogs, and get everything scheduled and to get to check every box, right? And so everybody needs to take these platforms like JACKApp 100% serious, especially for the people who don't use it, right? Don't have a system.
I think one of the best things that has happened in the construction industry in the last 10 years, at least I've started to notice it, is people like yourself that provide professional services to builders that are very tailored to the builder to understand what they need and to get the outcomes they need. There's business coaches out there like the Association of Professional Builders, the Professional Builder, yourselves that provide the marketing. And, in the last 10 years, younger builders have been able to connect with companies like that to give them professional advice. Because at the end of the day, when you're a builder, most builders are coming off the tools. We know how to build. We know how to do a really high quality home or high quality renovation. We don't know about running businesses and marketing. So having services like yourself out there and software like Jack, it's been such a change in the industry in the last 10 years. Like, you speak to older builders, they didn't have mentors like that. They worked for major building companies for 10 or 15 years, learnt the inside and out of running a company, and that's how they become successful. Whereas younger builders have got access to all of those coaching and forums now to kind of better themselves. And if you're a young builder and you jump into that, you'll get the results if you stick to it.
Yeah, I would also, to add on to that too, Dan, I would say that's also one of the biggest reasons why the failure rate of new builders is so high, is because it is so easy to buy a truck, get a building license, and start a company and just listen to a bunch of podcasts, and now all of a sudden you're a builder. And it's kind of a double-edged sword, because on one side of it, it's like, this is great. There's all these new people entering the building space that before they would have had to work for a big builder for 5, 10, 15 years to get the knowledge. But then then they're absolutely crushing it. But then on the other side too, all these new guys are just like, no experience, just building houses that suck. And I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. They're cutting corners. They're doing a cost plus model. They're making so much money on the back end, charging out labor for higher than they should be, making money and telling subtrades to charge extra and pay me under the table on it. Like, it happens every single day, and it's super unfortunate. And it's kind of like the Wild West right now in the building.
You do make a good point. Yeah, in Australia, back in Adelaide, there's a lot of builders that get basically a licensed trade, like myself or someone that's done a trade, to sign off on the work. And then they're guys that are just peddling numbers in the background. And it is quite sad. You do make a good point. There's a lot of shoddy work out there. It's not great for the industry.
It's not great for the industry. And it is like the Wild West. Well, there's a lot of red tape in some of the blue states within the US and in most of Canada. But in some of the red states, dude, like, the stuff that they get by with is just insane. Like, it's crazy. But I'm hoping that the industry will make a switch around and people won't have such a stigma with builders. I think there's a stigma with builders right now, the same as there is with marketers. And it's like, I don't want to be screwed over. I don't want to spend more than I should. I want to be in good hands. And the ones that do good work stand out and they charge more. And not to go on a rant about that, but yeah.
I think a big thing with the trade industry, this is probably a little bit off topic, but with apprenticeships, when you're doing especially higher volume housing, the apprentices get tunneled into doing a particular task. So say plumbing, for instance, the apprentice for his full apprenticeship might just do drains. Don't touch anything else. Whereas the traditional trade, at least how I did mine, is you did everything. Like, you touched every part of the build, and it was done in a particular way, and every trade really took pride in that journey. Whereas now the training and the apprenticeships, they become like a cheap labor resource for companies to channel into just doing one thing. And I think that's part to blame in the industry with the quality, because the trades aren't getting the proper training across their trade group. I met an apprentice the other day that said he was a cabinet maker, and all he did was put material on couches in a furniture shop, but he had a cabinetry degree.
That's crazy.
So it's just silly stuff like that, I think, needs cleaning up in the industry to get the quality back up.
Yeah, yeah, and as unfortunate as it is, some of the stuff that's happened with the Hispanic community, especially in the southern U.S., where builders now, uh, cutting corners on costs, will hire these teams that are completely unlicensed to come in on
Crazy.
their license to build and frame the place or do the roof, and it's like, it
It's
shouldn't
not
be
good.
happening. We all
Nah.
know it. And they're cutting corners, but the guy is charging 40% less than the guy that is licensed and has everything crossed off. And it's happening, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a sad part of the industry. Hopefully someone comes up with a good solution for it one day, but until there's not a price tag on a house and you can have what you want, then the problem's going to be there because people will take the cheaper price.
That's the truth. That is what will happen. Yeah, that's cool. Do you have any questions for us at all, Dan?
Well, I actually wanted to talk about my own building company and how you guys might help me back in Australia. We've done it a lot ourselves internally and
Yeah.
had a lot of problems over the years with consistency. My question to you would be, how do you keep consistency to builders marketing and the same brand and the same message? Because I feel like it can be lost very easily when you're trying to portray it out there.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's also a loaded question. What do you got, Nick? You got something to say?
The best answer to that is marketing is a constant machine that needs effort put into it, is the best way I'm going to say this. And just like as a home building company would use JACKApp to keep their job organized, to make sure their subs show up, to make sure everything single box is checked before you wrap up the piece part of the project or whatever. How we keep the consistency is we use ClickUp as a project management software, and we have, again, like, sorry, this is a little side tangent, but just like you need a skilled if like I'm pretty good with Facebook ads, right? But our guy Keelan, who runs Facebook ads all day long, every single day, he runs circles around me. And so
Yeah.
basically, by having the whole process in ClickUp for each thing, like a website, I can build a website in 5 minutes, right, using AI. But if I want to build a great website that actually ranks, that has the location pages, that has the interlinks, that has the backlinks, right, it has the right URL slugs, it has everything, has to be consistent. But the only way to master that consistency is by having it on ClickUp, having a website, then having each subtask with its subtasks, right?
Yeah,
Search
yeah.
console, connect search console, do
How,
this, do this, do.
how are you guys seeing the trends in the change with Google search and AI, people going to AI now to ask instead of Google? Like, where's that trend going, and what does that mean for builders like myself that probably traditionally relied on the Google ad and smash a heap of money, get a heap of leads? Is that even relevant anymore, Google ads?
I can answer that one. So it is changing. I predict within the next 3 years, Google search will be completely dead and replaced with Gemini. And
Wow.
I see things moving more towards answer engines rather than like search engines. Meaning, an answer engine is something like, hey, Claude, who are the 5 best home builders that I should look at hiring to do my project? And then it'll ask them a few questions, they'll answer it, and then it'll go and do their research, go do their research for them and serve them 5 home builders. That's how I envision the search looking in like 3 to 5 years from now versus right now. You go to Google, do a search, and then it's just based on your SEO, which is like about 130 different things that Google takes into account to make the list, right? It goes off like your domain authority, the relevant content, so on and so forth. So I see it switching heavily to AI. Google is switching to Gemini. ChatGPT just came out with Atlas a few months ago or almost a year ago, which is like its search engine or answer engine. And I think that's where things are moving towards. And so as a builder, how you can protect yourself and make sure that you don't become irrelevant overnight when that switch happens is start creating content that will get picked up by answer engines. Start having an FAQ page that has direct answers that your ideal clients are asking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
so
cool.
having answers like that. One thing that's really working well is having a calculator on your website that helps estimate the project price. And we're finding that that answer and that calculator is being referenced in answers when people go and search how much does it cost to build a custom home in Houston, Texas. AI will find your calculator,
yes.
use the code,
That's wild,
find the
and
answer,
then link it back to it.
and link it back to you. Exactly. So
Very
having a
smart.
self-serve tool like that is huge. Credibility is obviously going to be number one. You want Google reviews, you want Bing reviews, you want House reviews, you want BBB reviews. That is social proof. Social proof is one of AI's only ways to know how credible a website actually is, how credible a company actually is, because it's other humans leaving direct reviews on you.
What would you say to a young builder coming up, hasn't done a job, still trying to win his first build? What does he do?
Oh, can I answer that one?
Go for it.
I love answering this question.
Because I feel like that's the hard one, right?
Yeah. Okay. This is actually the best and most easiest thing for me, at least from my brain. So
you sound very excited about it, Nick.
Yeah, man. He's a new builder, and he's just as pumped as me, right? He's like, wow, what is my business name going to be? He starts searching, and he's like, well, it's Instagram, Facebook, is a domain available? So first thing you should do is choose your business name. Go get yourself listed on Google Maps, first thing, right?
Yep.
Go get yourself listed on Google Maps, then go get yourself listed in like 70 directories that are free. What I mean by that is Better Business Bureau, Yelp, Mantra, Red Frog, whatever, all of them. Every single one, that's free. Use a separate email, though, so you don't get blown up forever. Okay? That's a marketing tip of the day. Then you've not spent $1. Make Facebook, make Instagram, make LinkedIn, make TikTok, make every social media platform, upload your logo. And then the first video that you should do is simple. It's all free so far. Take your phone and jump on camera and say, hey, my name's Nick. I'm building houses. This is my experience. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. You got to be honest and authentic. Now, people will love to be, if somebody knows that he does that, you post that on Instagram, post it to your personal Instagram, and post it to the business account. Now, all your friends and family know that you're building.
Sharing it.
Right?
Yeah.
And now you can share all the previous work you've ever done, because to be able to get to that point, you must have taken so many videos on your phone, maybe things you're doing, selfies.
Whatever, there's something. Yeah.
Post that content. That is your story and your journey, and tell a story. Then the next one is a story.
Do you think marketing is becoming not as much about company profiles, but personal profiles within companies?
Yeah. I believe so a little bit, right? Because the company itself still needs to have a good reputation, and have companies is only as good as the people. But as an example, personal relationships are pretty much unbeatable, because it doesn't matter where I go, the people in my network and who know me will follow me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And will follow Seth. And if you put home builder marketers, or you put Nick Cormier, people will choose Nick Cormier because I'm a human and we can connect on a deep level. I think it's still important to build a great company reputation, but the company's built by the people, which means that if you're posting content on social media, it should be of your people, it should be of your customers, it should be so authentic. And I think that that's where people thrive. I've been posting videos on social media, Dan, and they only get 500, 600 views, right? But I'm just yapping for 2 minutes answering questions, and that hits the right people. Then it gets 2,000 views. Boom, you run ads on it. Boom, you get hundreds of inquiries. So even as a builder, you're running ads. You make a social media post, it gets a little more, it gets way more viewership than normal, and it's a good one. Well, then run it as an ad. And then over time, I think the thing that most people mess up in a building company is they get busy, they stop marketing, they're slow, they want to market, they have no money when they're slow because they just spent it all. Then it's like this cycle they go through. But you just constantly need to be showing up. And your company's an ecosystem, and you keep adding people into the ecosystem, and it's our responsibility as company owners to make sure that we keep communicating to our ecosystem and our community. And most
that makes
people will
sense.
generate a batch of leads. They get you 200 leads. They close 3, 4, 5, 10 builds, and then all of a sudden they stop that consistent cadence. What's the better advice there is, when you get really busy, is to keep the consistent cadence. But if there's a cash flow issue or there's no time, then lower the cadence, but never stop the cadence. If it's worth doing one day, it's worth doing every single freaking day. And if you live with that mantra in your marketing, then you will be very successful. And I'm sure if you,
That's
same
good.
thing, if you use JACKApp one day, you must use it every single day. And because it's a habit, it's a process, and that's what creates greatness. But
Muscle
to
memory.
be honest,
Yeah.
customers we've worked with 6 months, and then they're like, I got 400 leads. I got, X amount of jobs. I'm going to pause it for now because I'm just, but they always will go through the same cycle. It's like skipping, it's like up, down, up, down, up, down. And you want
Especially
a
for
constant,
builders.
yeah, you want a constant pipeline that's actually always ready to pop, and you're in constant communication, and so that'd be my advice.
That's a good point, actually. A constant pipeline breeds a lot better work. When we first started, I would quote any job, just quote it, go as hard as we could. You just end up chasing your tail and you end up quoting for price shoppers, right? Whereas if you build up a good pipeline, you can choose to say no to the wrong client, and you don't have to work with that person that all they want is the cheapest price. They're putting really hard terms on you for timelines. They call you 5 times a day and take up all your time. Whereas if you can build up that pipeline, you can say no to some jobs, and then you end up building more of what you want rather than just taking what's there at the moment. So if you keep that constant pipeline, like you're saying, you'll actually end up building a better business because you can say no then. Whereas when you only go get work when you need the work, you're not really ever going to build up the right work.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
You want to know one other cool thing that we've learned from all of our customers that we work with? The top 20 to 30% of them have a construction coach that tell them stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so like having a coach is one of the biggest differentiators from like staying below like $3 to $5 million and scaling to 10, 15, 30, $50 million is having a coach, somebody that's pouring into you, that's helping you become 1% better a day.
Yeah, you've only got to even 0.1%. If you do that every day for the whole year, you're a lot better by the end of the year. So it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's exciting actually. Like the opportunity right now, I think, is bigger than ever because it's an effort thing, like, and it's a not cutting corners thing. And so even, when I want to add on to that SEO point, so that you can, Dan, in your home building business, you need to optimize for answer engine, but then just ensure that you're doing the consistent great things you do on your website. You have to make sure those consistent actions are happening. And also a fact is AI pulls from the top 1 to 20 results on Google. And so the people sometimes are like, answer engine's coming out. Like, I don't want to put too much energy into SEO. Well, doing it correctly and not cutting corners and making sure you have the right backlinks, you're in the right associations and organizations, will pull you so far ahead. But it's like, it sounds stupid, but like if someone's just consistent, then they will end up in the
in there as well. Yeah, that makes sense.
There.
Yeah.
But most people, they will create like a couple blogs, and then they'll post 10 blogs in a day, and then you do it for 6 months. And then, and it's the same thing as what you mentioned, with AI. It has to be done by a professional. 70%, like what we found is you could take somebody who knows nothing, they'll get it to 80% line every time. But the reason you need a professional is because to take it from 80 to 100 and check it off requires that actual logical brain that can make a decision, So
yeah.
Yep.
But sorry, I have to rant about how we could do that all day long, Dan. That was the best question ever.
I'd like to also state, so you asked the question, what would you do? What would you say to somebody that's starting a business? You know what? I'd like to actually flip that. And what would I say not to do to how, like, I like to sometimes reverse questions. And so what would I say to them to tell them to ruin a company? How would I say not to run a company? And then we can look at the opposite of that. I would say to ruin a company, first, don't post on social media. Second, overcharge your customers and be unauthentic and be scammy. I would say then don't adopt any software at all. I would say be as inefficient as possible by just wasting time every single day. Don't build out contacts. Like, these are all things that would be the opposite of that. And so take those and flip it. And that's what you should be doing. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense. Makes sense. I mean,
sometimes,
however it makes you understand it, I guess. It depends which way your brain works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the human brain, it's easier to find the negatives than it is to find the positives. And so if you're like sometimes curious, how do I do this? How do I accomplish this? You can actually flip it in your brain and say, what would I do to not accomplish this? What would I do to make sure I don't get this? What would I do to make sure I don't have a happy marriage? I would probably neglect my wife and do all these things. So then I go and do the complete opposite of that. And that creates a happy marriage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought like that before.
How long have you guys been going, Home Builder Marketer? What's your background?
Yeah, 4 years now we've been operating just for home builders. Yeah. And then Nick and I started our first company back in 2020, which is coming on almost, we're like 6.5, almost 7 years in.
Nice. If you can make it past, they say the 5-year mark's the death knock, isn't it? So good on you.
Yeah.
We made that. When we first started our first company, a little bit about our background. We kind of did have not the death knock, right? But
I would say we had the death knock.
We did hit it, yeah. We did. We started off and we started just in our local community, and at that point we were just two young guys with lots of ambition, and basically we decided that because we had the skill, but we decided we would serve people locally. But then we started servicing dentists and lawyers and like bicycle mechanics and like you name it, farmers. Like it was just crazy. And then basically the scale, it wasn't scalable. So we did scale that up. We probably served 300 or 400 companies. We got an office building. We filled it with 15 people when we were like 19 years old. It was a little bit stupid, some of the decisions we did. But we did.
Sometimes you want to do them early though.
We did them early. And then, we ended up and we had 80 grand a month worth of payroll, but we had zero reoccurring revenue since the beginning because we were just selling one-off projects and delivering them. So then at a certain point, we were like, wait a second. It was like the 5th of the month. We had like $10 in our account. And I was like, we got to make 40 grand in like 10 days here. And, we did that for like 7 months. It was like we just
redlining it.
Work and like, it was like redlining, but like we somehow like made enough sales and we had everything like turned until it didn't. And then we restarted and we hired a coach and then we niched. Well, we looked at the 300-400 customers that we had prior, and like probably like 60% of them were construction. And to be honest, like we hated dealing with lawyers and dentists. Like it was just like home builders are great people, man. Like they're the
you
salt
build
of
relationships.
The earth, you could say. They're not like, they don't think they. I don't know. I jive better with those individuals. Put it that I like the like builders and tradespeople and but like I don't couldn't say I can sit back the same with a lawyer. You know what I mean? Like it's not
a
the
great
same.
industry. It's the best industry. I love it. It's so good. The construction industry has got so many good people in it, and they all mean well. A lot of people in construction they just want to build good homes, do good work, and get some job satisfaction. Obviously, everyone wants to get ahead as well, but a lot of us are tradesmen at heart in the industry and love it. And, they're good people to work with.
100% family people and just great people, 100%. And so then since 60% of our clients were that, and we hired a coach, fast forward, boom, 4 years now we're here. And in that first company, we learned a lot. But then when we restarted, it was actually called Jump Marketing, but we were just servicing construction. And then like 2 and 3 years ago, we switched it to Home Builder Marketers because we were like, what's Jump Marketing? Home Builder Marketers, you know what we do, right? Jump Marketing, like what are you doing? Promoting jumping up and down or what? You know what I mean?
We first only become aware of you guys in Florida. We met you, didn't we, at the home show? Yeah. Yep. Well, I think you met us the second time when Timmy, one of our Australian builders who actually come over for the show, did a rap with you. You should play that to your audience. It's quite a fun.
No, that was really good.
Do you still have it on your phone, Seth?
I don't have it on my phone, but I know Dawson has it somewhere in the drive, and we posted it a couple times. It got some good laughs.
Let's do it. Let's post it again.
He's not getting any Emmy awards, but it's all right.
He might not get an Emmy for that one or whatever it is, but no, it was funny and it was really good at the time. That's awesome. But
in the close, one of your sales guys is in the close. You should say, "Look, we put like check this song out and then tell me your decision. You know, I believe that it would be like
just start sending that to all the demos afterwards.
That should be the follow up for your demos. Yes.
Yeah. We are a serious company, I swear. Yeah.
I love it.
Like even if you're serious, you know how sometimes if somebody were to ghost you, I don't know if your sales guys do this, but you do like the meme where you're like, "Hey, are you alive?" You know.
Yeah, we've sent plungers to people in the past saying like, "Hey, just trying to unclog this deal." Yeah,
we've done all sorts of stuff. Yeah, one time we sent $500 worth of pizza to this home building company, and they were all out of office.
Yeah,
there was like two guys in there. We were like, man,
that's hilarious.
Yeah,
but it's worth it. Gotta give more than you take.
Yeah, one time we flew all the way to Florida to get a deal, and he didn't even sign.
Oh no! Crazy.
Yeah, well, one of the things you'll do, hey? But Dan, I gotta say, man, it was absolutely a pleasure having you on here.
No,
but I always end our podcast with one question.
Oh.
If you could say something to a builder that was just getting started, what would you say to them right now?
I'd say don't underestimate the importance of your processes and your systems doing it early, because act like you're building 1,000 homes a year, because if you do that from when you start scaling, life will be a lot easier.
If it doesn't work at scale, don't do it.
Like pretend you are a big operator and do all the things a big operator would do with your processes, and you'll grow. That's really good. I really appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Now, if somebody wanted to learn more about JACKApp, where can they learn more about you?
JACKApp.io. Book a demo. There's a demo button right up in the top right hand corner, and you'll be able to do a demo with us. There's more information on the website about our pricing and features. And then should you go ahead, I'll be there to onboard you and set up your business system.
Awesome. And do you have like a personal social media at all that they could follow along and learn anything more about you?
Yeah, Dan Morton _JACKApp.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Dan, pleasure having you on here. And if anybody wants to get in touch with you, learn more about JACKApp, he just mentioned where you can do that. So go check him out. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
It's been a pleasure.